Okay, let's unpack this. You're trying to get a handle on something new, maybe even build a business, right? Like notary services.
Yeah.
And it just feels like, I don't know, you're swimming in information.
Oh, totally. It's like, what's important? What's just noise? Especially in a field like notary work, which is kind of decentralized.
Yeah, finding reliable info can be tough.
Exactly. So getting insights, directly from someone who's actually in it, building connections, that's super valuable. It really helps cut through all that clutter.
Right. And that's basically what we're doing today. We're going to dive into the takeaways from this recent interactive session. For notaries, kind of raw, unfiltered stuff about what's actually working now.
Think of it like a shortcut.
Yeah, a shortcut to understanding some key parts of the job. We're looking for those practical strategies, for growing, handling the actual tasks, and just getting a feel for the market dynamics.
So pulling out the most important bits from that session.
So where did they even start? Well, one of the first things, it seemed, was this big focus on, community.
Yeah, the Notary Buddy community mentioned it's already over 100 members.
Which is pretty cool growth.
But it wasn't just the number, right? It was the why behind it. They really stressed making it a safe space, no gatekeeping, just experienced folks helping out the newer ones.
That really says something about the need for that kind of support, doesn't it?
It really does. Peer support is huge.
And that kind of leads to the next question, do you need a coach right away? Which lots of people wonder about.
Right. And the session leader had an interesting take, not really pushing the one-on-one coaching thing so much.
Oh, what was the alternative?
More about open communication, using the group's collective knowledge. They mentioned direct text support and a community forum for questions.
Ah, so more accessible, maybe. Less formal.
Yeah, exactly. Quick help without maybe the cost or structure of formal coaching right off the bat.
Okay, got it. Now let's switch gears. Apostille work sounds official and kind of complex.
It can seem that way. It's basically getting documents certified for use in other countries.
And translation is a big piece of that puzzle.
A huge piece. And the session really hammered home the state-specific stuff, like Georgia needing wet signatures. You can't just ignore that.
Wet signatures meaning actual ink on paper.
Exactly. And think about it. If you recommend a translator who doesn't know Georgia's specific apostille rules, the document could get rejected. Big delays for your client.
Oof, yeah. Bad for business.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hits your reputation hard.
Did they mention any specific companies for translation? People always need recommendations.
They did, yeah. Idiomatic Translations was one, mainly for Georgia. Then the Spanish group and Rapid Translations, more national ones.
Okay, that's useful. Concrete names.
But the main point wasn't just the list. It was you have to vet them. Check if they understand the specific state's rules, not just, how cheap or fast they are.
Right. Do your homework based on the legal need. Makes sense.
Saves a lot of headaches down the road.
Okay, so beyond the technical stuff like apostilles, what about just building your network? Couriers, witnesses, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's crucial too. The session kind of highlighted how a lot of those relationships, they often just grow organically. You work with someone, it goes well, you trust them, you use them again.
Built on trust and good experiences.
Exactly. That's the best way, really.
But what if you're starting from scratch?
Yeah.
Need names now.
Well, they did mention Judy Lawrence's network as a formal directory option, so that's something.
Okay.
But they also encouraged being proactive, use your community connections, even use your client intake forms to start building your own list of trusted folks.
Build your own little black book.
Pretty much. That personal referral circle is gold. Saves you time, gives you peace of mind.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tackle the big one. Market saturation. Everyone worries, is there room for me? Are there too many notaries already?
Yeah, that came up. And they had a really interesting counter-argument.
Oh, yeah.
They used Gwinnett County in Georgia as an example.
Right.
Huge population, right? Almost 1 million people. But the observation was there are actually surprisingly few notaries there who are actively, marketing themselves consistently.
Huh. So it's not that there are too many bodies. It's that not enough are making noise.
That's basically the idea. What feels like saturation might often just be a lack of visibility. Poor branding, maybe inconsistent marketing.
So the advice is less don't bother and more get better at marketing.
Exactly. Shift the focus from worrying about competition to just doing your own marketing better, making yourself visible.
That's a much more empowering way to look at it.
Yeah.
Speaking of visibility, online presence, Google business profile, right? GBP.
Yep. Gotta have it. And they shared some real-world testing they did, specifically about showing or hiding your address on the profile.
What happened?
Well, it seems like sometimes turning the address off can actually impact your ranking. Maybe fewer calls. It sounds kind of backward, but that was their experience.
Interesting. So it's not always straightforward?
Definitely not. And it also ties into needing to be active on your GBP,
Right.
posting regularly, fresh content, stuff targeted to your local area. It's not set it and forget it.
Right, you have to keep feeding the beast, basically.
Pretty much. It shows Google you're active and relevant locally. That's how you compete online.
Okay, so thinking bigger than just your immediate town,
Mm-hmm.
can you work with clients in other states? Seems tricky legally.
Well, the notarization itself usually has to happen in your state where you're commissioned,
Right.
but apostille work changes things. They gave this example.
Hmm.
You're in Georgia. The signer is physically in Alabama, but they need a Georgia apostille for their document. You can notarize it in Georgia.
So the document's destination state matters for the apostille,
Yeah.
even if the signer is elsewhere when they need it notarized by you.
Exactly, which means suddenly you can actually market your apostille services to people outside your state.
Okay, that opens things up. Who would you target then?
Well, think about military communities. People move a lot. Areas with lots of immigrants needing documents for back home. Industries doing international business. Those are all potential markets.
So it allows for a much wider reach if you handle that kind of work.
For sure. It's a definite growth avenue.
This is great stuff. Now, thinking about growth, they mentioned some kind of creative strategies, like merging or even acquiring other notary businesses.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Like businesses that aren't active anymore. Or maybe just their GBP listing is sitting there dormant.
So what's the play? Buy the listing?
Potentially.
Yep.
Or try to acquire the whole inactive business. The really clever bit was maybe rerouting the phone number from those dead listings to your number.
Oh, okay. So you capture any lingering calls or leads?
That's the idea. It's definitely an underutilized tactic, I think, leveraging someone else's old online footprint.
You'd have to be careful, though, right? Check the reputation of that old listing.
Oh, absolutely. Due diligence is key. You don't want to inherit a bunch of bad reviews or problems. Got to check Google's rules on transferring listings, too. It's about spotting opportunity, but managing the risk.
Makes total sense. Now, building a business isn't always smooth sailing, is it? They talked about the early struggles, too.
Oh, yeah. Very relatable stuff. You know, running out of toner at 10 p.m., taking low-paying jobs just to get experience. We've all been there in some field, right?
Huh, definitely. The toner crisis is real.
Totally. But the point was getting profitable, being sustainable. It's not just about working more hours. It's about smart systems, managing your expenses carefully.
Getting efficient.
Exactly. And they also brought up group accountability again, how having that community support helps you stick to your financial goals, your systems.
Yeah, having people to check in with, share tips on saving money or finding better suppliers.
It keeps you motivated, keeps you focused, especially when things get tough in those early stages.
Okay, let's shift a bit to the client side. Connecting with people. The session talked about moving beyond just transactional marketing.
Yeah, this was powerful. They contrasted the basic need a notary, call me approach with something deeper.
Like what?
Like marketing that taps into the emotion behind why someone needs a notary. So instead of just the service, you paint a picture. Maybe helping you finalize the paperwork to care for your elderly parent. Something that shows you understand the situation, the human element.
Connecting with the why, not just the what.
Precisely. That builds trust. It shows empathy. And in a service based on trust, like notary work, that connection is huge. People are more likely to call you if they feel you get it.
That makes a lot of sense. It's less about a commodity, more about a solution to a stressful or important moment.
You got it. It builds that rapport before you even speak.
And building that trust, that visibility. It seems community engagement plays a role there, too.
Absolutely. They talked about the benefits of, say, donating your notary services sometimes, like at a school open house or a local fundraiser.
So part giving back, part marketing.
Kind of a win-win, yeah. And also engaging with specific communities, maybe underserved groups like immigrant populations who might really need reliable notary services but not know where to look.
And the idea is that word travels fast in those tighter-knit communities.
Exactly. Good word of mouth spreads like wildfire. It's about building a genuine presence, being seen as a helpful resource over the long term.
So it's not just about quick ads, but about embedding yourself positively in the community.
Right, that long-term view. Building real relationships, providing real value, that tends to pay off more sustainably.
Okay, so wrapping things up, the final message seemed to be about confidence.
Yeah, and how you build it. The key takeaway was that confidence doesn't just appear. It comes from doing, from taking action.
Like practicing.
Yep, even simple things, like printing out mock documents and going through the notarization steps. Practice builds familiarity. Familiarity builds confidence.
Makes sense. You feel more prepared?
Exactly. And knowing there's ongoing support available, like those weekly live sessions they mentioned, that helps too. You know you're not alone if you hit a snag.
So bringing it all together then, this deep dive really showed it's about, well, way more than just stamping documents, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. It's community, it's smart marketing, understanding the real market, not just perceived saturation.
And connecting with people, providing real value.
Absolutely. Being informed, being proactive. That's really the core message, I think. That applies to any field, not just notary work. It's how you succeed.
So here's a final thought for you listening in. Thinking about everything we just talked through, all those insights from the session, what's maybe one area where you could take some kind of immediate action to improve your understanding or maybe your approach? Doesn't have to be notary specific.
Yeah, think about it. Those ideas around community, visibility, really connecting with need, where could that apply in your world? Something to chew on.